strike, you can just relax. When I do the strike, I want all of my organization on that, okay? So, everything is hitting there. When I do this point now, to do that would be force on force. That's a clash, okay? So, I need to go, in this case what I did was go under it. So that means that my center has to drop. My center has to drop. My center does not keep turning in, you see? So I was going in, felt it, and underneath it. So if you just look here, you keep looking at my hand. You want to look here, okay? So here's the strike, boom, boom. Finally, researchers have, hey, let's see. And no one can do it, okay? So that's not what's happening. In fact, what is happening is what I mentioned the other day, where you have to have both the capacity for concentration and a capacity for detachment. So, which means unattachment, detachment. Okay. So I'm doing my Kihon Waza, right? And I have all my concentration on the strike. Boom! But the second I tell that it's not going to be what I wanted it to be, then immediately I have detached from that commitment. Okay? And to you, the observer, you don't know, which is why some of you stopped throwing the strikes and just went right to a projection, you see? And what was happening, then it's not setting up as nice, you don't have the relationship as nice, all of those things are happening. But it's not that, I go do one thing or I do many things at once. It's that I do one thing as fully as I can and I immediately let go when it's not working for me. In the traditional record, you have variations on that explanation. So, with a following yin yang, right? You're gonna have full commitment, but what? Tiny bit, a little bit, until you give it all, but hold a tiny bit back. Okay. So I think that's now you're trying to make the metaphor more real. Just understand it's about full concentration and then, as needed, full detachment, full unattached. Okay. All right.
So in order to cultivate that, should I only go as fast as I can try and maintain that mind that can be aware and sensitive enough to?
I think, yeah, as a beginner technique, I don't think that is the way that you actually cultivate this skill. I do think that is the way that you begin to problematize the fact that I can't do it at all. Because most of us are totally unaware that we stop the hand, right? Or that we're on the bottom and not on the top. So by slowing it down so that your intellect can take note of and observe, right? That's like the first step towards a different you. But as far as the skill goes, that skill traditionally, and I am in accordance with this, that is what we moderns would call, that's a religious realization. That's a spiritual maturity that has to happen. And so you need to cultivate it through those means. That's going to be service, that's going to be fasting, that's going to be zazen, right? All the things where our pride, our fear, all the things that get in the way of detachment, fear, pride, ignorance, all of that's how you do it. So you take your practice and you make it an attempt to purify out or to reconcile fear, pride, ignorance, then this mind will follow. Okay? And you cannot do that just by observing yourself in the technique. You can kind of bleed that in, like we say. You can use the teacher as a means of generating a reconciliation with fear, pride, and ignorance, because the teacher is a tool, a technology in which you self-displace. You see, your ego, your fear, your pride wants you to do the technique this way, but by your commitment to the mentor, to the master, to the abbot, you are practicing self-displacement in doing the technique exactly as it was prescribed. See? So then in that case, Kihon Waza can do it, okay, and should. You guys came here, and then you had this throwing effort, okay? Why don't I have a timing that when I hit that spot, his elbow hits that. Do you understand? Do you guys see that difference? So I am not going like this and whoa. I am moving in such a way that when I hit this hand positioning, his center is already connected to that point. And so he projects off of that. Do you get that? So that concept, right, that's the art. That's why it looks fake. Because everyone goes, hey, you didn't move your arm. You didn't move your hand, and he's just throwing himself. And why everyone who does it goes, I don't know how he threw me. I don't know, because next thing I know, I was in the air. But it's just physics. He's landing on the greater resistance of the earth at my base, so he's going to project. Okay? So yeah, just let it be. That's the trick. That's the trick. So go to your Taoist philosophy. Wu-Wei. Wu-Wei is the concept, often translated as, non-action. Obviously, I'm acting. It's really just, no preference-based agency. Or, the way that I like to translate, doing the right thing. Doing only the thing that needs to be done. No more, no less. Okay? That's Wu-Wei.